Well, good morning, good evening, good welcome, whatever. We're just laughing for something off air, that's all. And we're completely mad today, I think. So,
Well, I'll let him in on one of the jokes. I'm actually trying to outdo Mike tonight with my hair, guys. Okay, I've just washed it. It is extremely windy here in Brisbane tonight. It's worse than Chicago, the windy city. So, yeah, my hair's doing a little bit of a frizz. Okay, so at least I can outdo Mike with the hair tonight, guys.
and I'm indoors because it's bloody cold out today in the middle of summer. So,
Yeah, so there you go. We're competing with the weather as well because it's butt freezing here as well.
yeah. But you know what? Before we start, I got this. I spoke about this last week. This is a piece of orgonite. It's made of
Oh, I like.
yeah, and this draws out all negative energy. And you can do a little test if you get. It actually works better with alcohol, to be honest. If you get a little bit of schnapps or a little bit of whiskey or something, and put it in a glass on here, and have one that's just sitting on the table. Taste them both, and you'll find the one that's been sitting on the orgonite tastes a lot more purer because
And how many times did you test that theory?
well, it was the same as the testing the theory for COVID. If you lose your taste, then it's a good chance you got COVID. So I continually drank
Oh, come
glasses
on,
of
we're
wine.
trying to be. I was trying to be funny there. You're talking alcohol, so I said,
Yeah,
"Hello,
yeah.
how many times have you tested it?"
Well,
And it just went full straight over your head.
well, no. I was about to say, just like testing for COVID, that you got no taste. I kept drinking wine and wine and wine, and I couldn't taste anything, so I had to taste another. And there we are. So anyway, welcome, Tracy. Happy Hump Day. Is that what's Happy Hump Day all about?
Hump Day's Wednesday because
Oh,
it's midweek.
oh,
You
okay,
know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
okay,
Thursday, Friday. So
okay.
it's like a camel's hump.
Oh,
Yeah. You
okay.
don't know that one in Austria. Well, it's
No,
a big thing here in Australia. Yeah, it's all good.
yeah, and,
Hi, Zena. Zena's just said hello as well.
and Kimberly.
Okay. Yeah, it's all good. We've got a few people watching. Hello, Melinda. Yay! Melinda's on early tonight for a change. Good on you, darling.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, you know what I love, Mike?
Go on.
I love it when you send me a video and I have to rewind it and watch it again. And then I rewind it and I watch it again. And then
Okay.
I rewind it and I think, what is that?
Yeah.
I love those videos, and guys, we have one tonight. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, you know what? Before we do get started with this, I have been noticing this week actually a lot more on UFO phenomena out in the space. What do they call it? The space station out there.
Yes.
They were
The
actually,
ISS.
yeah, they was
Yes.
actually talking about what is this object that's floating near the antenna. Um,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
this first clip we got is taken from an aircraft. It doesn't say if it was a passenger plane. I don't think it was because we would have seen the sort of roundish windows. Um,
Yeah.
but it is actually pretty interesting. I'd like to know your opinion on,
It is.
you know,
It
because
is. Well, I have an opinion on it.
you're,
Hello. Look, I always, just to let people know how we operate, Mike. Mike sends me the files generally on a Sunday. And sometime between Sunday and now, I actually get the opportunity to watch them. Okay, so as I watch the videos, I write my notes. So here's my notes for tonight's shows. So things that I think are pertinent to say regarding debunking or anything like that. So I always have my cheat sheet available, so people know that I have actually looked at these videos, and that I have had an epiphany sometimes about what I think it is or what it's not. Okay.
yeah,
Please know that, like one that we are going to talk about tonight, I had it on the computer. It's only about a 45-second video, but I was watching it for maybe 10 minutes, rewind, and then I rewind and to it frame by frame by frame by frame, and this one tonight, it's got me intrigued, Mike, because there's some things in there, because it's only when you slow it down.
Yeah.
There's things in there that you see that you don't see when it's just played at full screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting.
So just to run through what we got today, we got this little alien, or well, literally an unidentified flying object, whatever that is.
Yeah.
We got two little ghost appearances. One of them is called a ghost dog. We'll have a look at that. Then there's the Jimmy Jones, who was saved by an angel. And what's interesting about this was a tornado, how this angel appeared to him, almost like a vagabond, a down and out in this reenactment. We can get,
or as we call it here in Australia, a hobo.
Okay.
We call them hobos, homeless boy, you know, H-O-B-O is what we call them here.
Okay.
You know, homeless people.
Right.
So that's an interesting one as well. So, guys, please stay tuned. We've got some very interesting videos as usual.
Yep.
You know, we love your input. Please comment away if you think it's real, if you think it's fake, if you think it's non-paranormal, you know, because some of these videos that we see, some of them are non-paranormal, you know, spiders walking across camera lenses, etc. So, you know, let us know what you think, because you know, no one's an expert here. We just show this to keep the interest up and to hopefully get everybody on the same sort of plane where we all just like talk and debunk all this stuff. Okay, guys? Yeah.
Well, then we got the NDE of Dr. Mary Neil. And on that note, please, once again, if anyone listening has had an NDE, an OBE, or a shared death experience, or knows some of the dead vision, really please just, you know, sit in front of the camera for 5 minutes, give us the nuts and bolts. You know the length of the sequences we have, and let's hear your story. Let's share your story.
That's right.
I know it can be a bit daunting if you're not used to it, to put yourself in front of the camera, but it'd be okay. As you can see, no one here on this show will ridicule or laugh. Otherwise, anyone that listens to this show that does that will be removed. You're all entitled. You're entitled to your views, to agree and disagree, but ridicule and stuff like that we won't tolerate here. So please, if you've had any spiritual experience where you've encountered seeing angels or something like this, please let us know, and just PM me or Lynda, and we'll give you the details on how about going about doing this. Because we want to hear from ordinary people as well.
That's exactly right. You know, we show celebrities on here every week. We don't. Well, I will go there. We do have a celebrity tonight, because I researched him and I thought, whoa. Right. That's Michael Shane, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, it's actually it's spelled MYCHAEL. So I found him the other day, and I researched his website, looked at other stuff that he does. Whoa, he's done some pretty impressive stuff. So I even shared his link in Dr. Lynda Cramer Paranormal, that Facebook group, because, you know, I was in total shock when I saw what this man has been capable of doing in his lifetime. So, and he's also a reverend, by the way. So, we'll certainly have a look at him today and see what, you know, whether, you know, this is something that we have to debunk. Is he a magician? Because I've seen, who was it? Constantine, the magician Constantine. He's done something very similar. And he's actually done a little, like a peekaboo show where he shows sort of how he does these. And I'm still blown away, you know. I'm still blown away.
I'll tell you what, I've got a little bit to say on this, and I'll reserve that to after we've seen this.
Sure.
Because clearly some of it is magic, and some people have a gift. It's as simple as that.
That's exactly right. And that's where I put Darren Brown. He's a UK magician, but I've got a feeling he's actually a psychic.
He is.
He has to be.
He hasn't.
He has to be.
He won't admit it. He is very psychic. Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Anyone wants to go and check out Darren Brown, it's DERREN
Yeah.
BROWN.
Yeah.
He was in Netflix, and he's very good.
Yeah.
You know, there was on Netflix, I actually watched him where he got all the 6 pensioners and they robbed the art from the art gallery. That was so incredible how he trained them up to deceive these pensioners, 70 and 80-year-olds, you know, and he got them all arrested to make them feel, you know, to see what it would be like if they were actually arrested on the night.
Yeah.
So he faked them getting arrested to see if they were going to have a heart attack or whatever. But, you know, he's excellent. He is absolutely excellent, Darren Brown.
He also works with a lot of psychology with people. For example, he'll do something like he'll come up to somebody in the street with a map and say, "Excuse me, can you tell me where this is?" And they start to describe, and then they'll have two guys coming through with a big mirror, and they'll say, excuse me, stand in between, and then when the mirror's gone, someone else replaces him, and they don't even notice.
They don't even notice that it's not the same guy.
Yeah. So,
that's a psychological trick, which is what they're pulling all around the planet at this point, darling.
Yeah.
You know, oops, don't get us banned, Lynda.
Yeah.
Naughty.
Save it for later on in the show. But I'll tell you what, shall we? Because we got a lot to get through.
Good stuff tonight.
So
let's start. What are we going to look at first,
We're
Mark?
going to look at the alien or the alien or angel. It was sort of entitled, and this was taken from an aircraft. And so I don't know if it was a passenger jet or someone's private jet or whatever. I'll leave it up to you. We can have a look, see what everyone thinks. It's a short clip, I think.
Sure.
Here we go.
What is it?
Well, angel, alien, light refraction. What I'm pretty sure about this is that this is not something that's been photoshopped. As you can see, this comes from a German, pretty much mainstream, I think, news channel or something. I don't particularly watch it, but it seems to have come from a mainstream type of thing. when something comes from a mainstream, I know they're quite stupid sometimes, mainstream, but they do some checks so as they don't make themselves look stupid.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, I think this is genuine and not somebody messing around to try and create effect. What do you think?
Okay. For what I think, I have to go back to the 1980s.
Right.
I used to be a manager for Australia Post, and for about 12 months I went out west to remote cities who used to do the weather. So back then, you know, you've got all your temperature gauges, your water gauges, whatever you want to call them, and you have to look at cloud formations and ascertain, because there's 3 levels of cloud. So I've got that training in my background of weather. I've watched that cloud or angel or UFO or whatever the hell you call it. It doesn't break up with the precipitation like all clouds do. It stays in roughly the same formation, even though it changes form, but it doesn't do that wispy stuff like clouds do when the wind goes through it. Even on a windless day, clouds still break up. They what's the word? Not dissipate. That's the word. They dissipate. This thing, obviously, because of the length of the video, there's no dissipation there at all, which irks me because it's not weather.
Right.
It's not a cloud. It's not a cloud. So then you've got to look at what else it could be. One, it stays in roughly the same form, like the same size, but it does change long to short to other things.
And then fanned out somewhat.
And then it sort of fans out.
Yeah.
Clouds would just dissipate at that point when it fans out.
Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued to know what that is. You know, obviously when I saw the video, I was thinking, man, where's some sort of landmark or something so we could get a size comparison. We can see the height off the ground. But now that you say it's taken actually from a plane, it's obviously in the air somewhere.
Yeah.
But how far away is it? You know, is it a kilometre long? Is it only 3 foot long? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's all regardless, though, because it doesn't change the what do you call it? Oh, God, I'm trying to get scientific here. The actual size of it. It doesn't change. So, yeah, it's very, very, very intriguing, Mike.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really happy with that one.
I mean, from what I can see, the plane is in, seems to be at altitude. It's reached its altitude. And I think, you know, this is why the outside looks the way it is and you can't really see anything. Plus the fact the camera isn't looking down on anything, it's looking straight ahead. Yeah, I would tend to agree that this is a phenomena of some sort.
It is.
It couldn't possibly be a weather balloon or something like that. It would have just been the power of the plane would have either blown it away, or it wouldn't have been able to keep up with it, or it would have got sucked into the engine, and all kinds of disasters could have happened.
That's right. And weather balloons, they're actually quite tiny. You know, if you look at classic weather balloons, they're tiny.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, how close was it to the airplane?
Yeah.
So then you've got to think of its own altitude. Then you've got to think of its own speed or velocity. Then you've got to think of why wasn't it sucked into the engines or whatever.
Yeah.
Kimberly's got one here, jerking type movements.
Yeah.
Clouds don't make jerking type movements.
No.
Balloons, they can because of the wind making it jerk around, but balloons always stay the same shape.
Yeah.
You know? Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, while we were just watching that, Mike, I do want to add something. I've just replied to Jeff Soul.
Right.
Jeff, if you're still listening, I found out some stuff today about the location where he lives. I'm not going to disclose that. It's private.
Right.
It is regarding something that we don't usually discuss on this show, if you know what gets us banned. So I tried to get him this week, so I was hoping that he'd be here today so I could actually send him this stuff because it is pretty important for where he lives.
Right.
I openly say to anybody, if you do want to contact me regarding anything, please use my email, Lynda@lyndaray.info, okay? Because yes, you know, who else is here? We've got a few here that, you know, all would like to contact me.
Yeah.
Kira, I've got your email there, darling. I didn't get a time today because I've been extremely busy, so I will get to your reading, darling. Well, don't think I forgot about you, Kira. Okay. No, it is coming because I've just had some very, very, very busy days again.
Yeah.
But I do have time this week, so
Yeah.
I've actually cleared up a few days this week to get back into my backlog. You know, so I do apologise, Kira, that I haven't got to you yet. Please know that I do love you. Okay, so if anyone else out there does want to contact me, Lynda at lindaray.info is my my email.
If I've
PM me or Mike if you have any concerns about anything,
Right.
okay? Because as you've already worked out, we do talk before the show, and there's a lot of things that we can't discuss on here or else we'll be getting banned again.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, so
Yeah.
back to this one again. Sorry, I just wanted to
Yeah.
throw that in
Yeah.
because you obviously would have seen the comment that I just did to Jeff
Yeah.
Soul. So, guys, I have no idea if that's an alien, an angel, weather balloon, but I don't think it's a weather balloon, and it's certainly not a cloud.
And it didn't feel hostile. I got to tell you that.
No, I didn't feel that either, Mike. You know, I didn't feel, you know, because I'm an empath and, oh, God, everything else that I am. But I didn't feel any sort of energy of any sort of threat or
Right.
hostility coming from that
Right.
object at all.
No.
Yeah, I actually felt more inquisitive.
Right.
Inquisitive. Yeah, that's the word I'll go with. You know, like not confusion, just what it, you know, like
Yeah.
like what is that? Like it's confused by seeing the plane more than the people in the plane seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so that it was an interesting one. I liked it.
Let's
Yes.
Because I don't want to run out of time. Basically, with what
That's
we got.
right. Yes.
Let's have a look at this next clip. This is a ghost, apparently.
Yeehaw!
Let's have a quick look at this and see what your thoughts are. Here we go.
I mean, I gotta assume that other kids are being baptized. I mean, I gotta assume that other kids are being baptized. I mean, I gotta assume that other kids are being baptized. I mean, I gotta assume that other kids are being baptized.
There we are. Lynda, what do you think?
All right. When I first saw that the first time, because this one I've watched a few times, okay?
Yeah.
I was watching him walk across and I was thinking, okay, where's the ghost? Thinking that there'd be something around him or under the garage or
Right.
near the car or whatever. Now, obviously, he was the ghost, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know the technology used with that camera. You know, they could have pulled the Jeff Soul acting like a ghost in his backyard type thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But one thing that really intrigued me about that was the letterbox.
Okay.
Because whatever it is, whether it's real or fake, the letterbox is behind this thing as it walks past.
Right.
So you can actually see the letterbox through it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so
well, Melinda says it has a shadow. She sees a shadow.
oh well, ghosts don't have shadows.
No. Should we have a look?
I didn't see a shadow.
Should
Yeah,
we
can we please have a now, guys, just remember you guys are 10 seconds behind me, so if I'm holding my phone up, just remember that there is a delay. Okay?
Okay.
So let's have a look at it again, see if there is a shadow here, guys.
Okay.
I mean, I gotta assume that other kids are being baptized. I mean, I gotta assume that other kids are being
Yeah, I mean, there is a shadow there. It doesn't explain the anomaly with the letterbox.
That's right. Because ghosts don't have shadows.
No. Yeah.
You know, when I watched this, I actually compared it to the Shelley story. You know, the ghost that was in my house for 3 days, and at the end of it, I got jack of her, so I got sick of her, so I just sent her on a merry way, and I said, well, you go through the white light or leave. I watched her walk down the street. She had no shadow,
Right.
and it was full daylight when she left here. She should have been casting a shadow on the ground. She didn't.
No.
Maybe I should have asked her, where's your shadow? Because that would have probably given her a little bit of an inkling that she was dead, right? But that one's got a shadow.
Right.
Now I am disappointed. So who pointed that out? Was that
Melinda? Yeah.
My God, Melinda, you are amazing.
Yeah.
See? Don't ever expect that I'm just a be-all and end-all of an expert here, because, I'm still learning this myself, as we all are.
Yeah.
And that's why we put these on there for everyone to have a comment.
Yeah.
Melinda, you are awesome for pointing out why is it got a shadow. Because ghosts do not have shadows.
Right. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Melinda also suggests that was an alien in the previous picture.
Well, yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Someone said angelic. It could be angelic. Could be an alien. But I think we're all on the same side of the fence here, where we say it is some sort of phenomenon that's not normal. So it's paranormal.
Yeah.
Yeah? We agree to that.
I think so.
Yes. Without it actually speaking or throwing out its arms with a big, I'm an alien sign.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? So that we all know what it is. Anyway, we don't get that ever. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit disappointed now because I actually liked that video. Yeah, I didn't even see the shadow. God, why didn't I even pick up on the shadow?
Well,
gosh.
Melinda says the light at night gave it away. Yep, I'm still learning
Yes.
too, as we all are, Melinda.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Melinda, for pointing that one out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. All righty.
Yeah.
Well, let's have a look at this second one. This what is titled Ghost Dog.
Yep.
Very strange one for me, but let's see what you all think.
Okay. Well, guys, this is the one that I rewound, watched, slowed down, rewound, watched for about 10 minutes. Okay, it's only about a half a minute clip, but I watched this one for about 10 minutes. That's how intriguing I was by this one.
Okay.
So let's see what you all have to say. Please comment away and tell us what you think of this one. Okay?
Here we go. Go live again and put him back again.
And the step. There's also that step going up to the back door.
Yeah.
Where you can sort of see it going over there.
Right.
Wow.
What do you think, Lynda? This is an anomaly, a light thing, or?
Okay. I have seen over the years probably 2,000 videos where people say this is paranormal yet it turns out to be a bug or a spider walking across the lens. I've seen many, many, many of them, okay?
Right.
When I first saw this, I thought that's what it was.
Right.
But then I watched it again. And then I watched it again in slow motion, and then I watched it again. The fact that this thing does not come into shot from offset, so it's like coming in like my hand, okay? It just appears, and then it just disappears. Where did it come from and where did it go to are the two big factors here. Because when you're looking at videos with spiders, as soon as you get the first edit, it's there because it's already on this lens. Okay, when they edit it and say that's the end of the film, it's still there because it hasn't walked off the lens. Okay, this thing disappears on its own accord, or should I say, of its own accord, and you can see through it. So it would be interesting to know the distance between the lens of the camera to the object, to the step in that tire of the vehicle. Okay, how close is it to that tire and the vehicle? But you can obviously see that the camera is higher than the ground because it's sort of looking down at the vehicle. So I'd say that the camera is probably 8-10 foot off the ground.
Right.
So it is like shining across, but it appears and then it disappears. Right. So it's not a spider.
No.
It's not a bug.
No.
It's something.
It's something.
So it is something. Okay, like the clouds that we were just looking at. Oh, is it a cloud? It is something.
Yeah. Because
it doesn't leave the lens. It doesn't leave the frame, but it just disappears while it's still in frame. Okay. So let's just go there now with debunking it. Who would actually create a video that looked like that? It's very amateur.
Yeah.
It's not a full-blown apparition, so then people say, oh, my God, look, I caught a ghost on video. It's only a mist. It's very amateurish, so no one would have deliberately made that,
No.
So I would say that it is paranormal, but because it's still in like a mist shape, we can't say it's fog because fog doesn't do that. We can't say it's someone having a cigarette inside the truck because smoke doesn't do that. It's not wind because it's still in the same area and it dissipates and disappears. So I do believe it is paranormal, Mike.
Yeah.
But exactly what it was, what entity, like a dog, person, whatever, rabbit, as you said earlier, it could be anything because it didn't take its full apparition.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like that one.
Well, I mean, Catherine asks a reasonable question. Have to ask, why were they filming? I mean, the only thing I can suggest is this was a CCTV camera, a security camera is the only thing I can suggest.
Yeah. And that was the door of the truck. If I had vehicles outside, I'd be damn aiming my cameras at the doors.
Yeah.
Seriously. I've done it here in my car because I've got a car in a carport. I've got security cameras. I aim it straight at the doors. So if someone comes up, you see them try and have that intention of opening the doors so then you know whether they're trying to steal your car or not.
Yeah.
So I've done that myself. So there is that is plausible that they had that camera shot there where the steps were to get into the vehicle,
right?
Or to see anyone walking past the vehicle. So that is plausible.
Yeah.
And just by that one shot of like that location, I'd actually assume here they've got more than one camera.
Yeah.
So that's just one angle of like their whole yard. So they've got one aimed near the car, they've got one aimed near the front gate, they've got one near the front door, etc. That's what I would assume.
Nice place to live. All those security cameras.
I've got 6 here.
I've
got 6 cameras in my house.
When I lived in France for a short while, I never even had a lock on the door.
Yeah.
I just used to pull it to, go back to London, and that was it. Everything was in the house when I came back. The only time I got robbed was by somebody I went to lunch with who arranged that he'd have someone going. And the only reason I know that is because when I went to his house, I found all my stuff in it.
Wow.
But that was the only time. And even when I had my boat in London, I know it's on a private marina and you've got to get through a security gate. But, you know, I never locked the boat, never locked the cabin. And my laptop was sitting on the table. And when I arrived a month later, my laptop and everything else was still there.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't do that where I live. I've got 6 security cameras here, Mike.
Really?
You know? Well, look at my house next door, Roy's house, the haunted, you know, Roy died 5 years ago. He's still in there. There's been squatters in there over the years, you know, drug dens, etc. Yeah. It is a nice little colourful place where I live. Yeah. You know, hello. But they respect me, I respect them. Yeah. Doesn't help when they know that I used to work. Oh, my God. Well, they're scared of me, you know, and so they should be because they don't know what I'm capable of. But anyway, I just try to be like that, you know, 55-year-old frail woman sometimes because then I'm not a threat to anybody, you know. Yeah. I prefer to sit on the computer and research stuff. Hello.
Well, okay.
And leave me alone.
Let's move on to our next clip. This is the story of Jimmy Jones, who was rescued by an angel. I'll just give you the brief thing. He was a truck driver and a tornado was heading his way and he had to escape the tornado. I'll give you my views after on this, so we won't spoil it. Let's just run it and
let's go run it.
See what people think. Here we go.
You hear people say it's like a train. It sounded like a train. It sounded like 40 trains.
It was the largest tornado outbreak in U.S. history. Over a 4-day period, the National Weather Service confirmed 358 twisters in 21 states, from New York to Texas. On April 27, 2011, delivery man Jimmy Jones found himself right in the middle of the chaos.
It was F4. It was over 180 mile an hour winds, I was told. But it got wider after it had just touched down probably a half a mile from where I was at. It looked like it was 250, 300 yards from me when I first saw it.
Jimmy was driving his delivery truck down the interstate. He thought he only had one option, to make it to an underpass.
They say get in a ditch, but one of that magnitude, I wouldn't have never survived that. It was sucking things up out of the ground. But I felt led to go to that bridge, and I knew I had to get there. They tell you don't get under a bridge. That's the worst thing you can do, but when that's all you got.
Once Jimmy made it to the underpass, the tornado was already on him. Jimmy remembers in the midst of the storm, he called out to God.
I was praying that the Lord save me. I'd get out of the truck, jump over the guardrail and start up that hill, and that hill is about as steep as these walls in this home. And me trying to run and the wind's already hit me in the face and throwing things. I mean, there's debris coming at me. And I mean, I'm digging, trying to get up that hill. And I didn't think I was gonna make it.
When he made it to the top of the underpass, someone was already there.
When I got up under there, I see this fella sitting on this blanket. I was scared out of my mind. And I run up and got right in his face. I said, "Sir, we gotta take cover, it's a tornado." And he looked at me and he stood up. And it was like everything slowed down at that point. He said, "Is that right?" And that's all he said. And he said it, no concern. It was just like, "What are you worried about?"
Deep within a crevice under the bridge, Jimmy grabbed a piece of metal pipe attached to the concrete.
It felt like a piece of metal up in there, a metal rod that was further back up in there, and I just grabbed it.
Debris pelted Jimmy's back.
It felt like somebody stabbing you in the back with an ice pick. And then it had some draw to it. It tried to pull you out. But I was far enough back up in there, and I remember I was pulling hard into that V, and they were tied up against my shoulders.
After what felt like an eternity, the wind finally ended. The man was still nearby.
When it was all over with, and I come out from that little cubbyhole that I was in, I remember looking and seeing him stand back up over there. I didn't see him get up under anything. I didn't see him crawl out from under things. It's just when I got down and looked over there, I seen him stand back up.
Soon after the twister left, emergency personnel arrived on the scene.
I saw my truck tore up. There were people screaming. Paramedics and police were there on the scene right already. There's a lot of cars flipped upside down, tore up in the road and stuff. The paramedics were looking in the vehicles and they were asking where I was, and I heard him, and I said, here I am, and I run down the embankment, stepped over. I said, I'm up here with this fella, and I turned around and pointed, and there wasn't nobody up there. There wasn't no blanket up there, there wasn't no man up there, and the only way he could have come down was with me or beside me. He had come down the same way I did because there was so much destruction on both sides of the embankment of that overpass. And I asked people there, did y'all see another fellow? No, we didn't see him. Well, he may have got sucked up in the tornado. I said, no, he was there. I saw him. I know what I saw.
He believes God sent him an angel to help him face the incredible force of that F4 tornado.
A preacher friend of mine said that he believed that the Lord put him there to calm me.
Jimmy says God taught him a few important lessons in the storm.
God is and has been wonderful to me. He's a loving God. He's a caring God. He's my Lord and Savior. Here we need to be doing things for him, because when it's all said and done, nothing else is going to matter.
So there we are. Interesting that how this, in this reenactment, this angel was presented. It could have been presented with someone in the traditional winged form. It could have been presented in the form of a dog or another animal. God, there's 100 ways. I'm curious as to why it was almost like a down and out that was, although he was clean cut and everything, but you know, we often know that people who are homeless will live in situations like that under bridges to shelter from the weather. So I wonder if this is something to do with his personality, that it was presented in this way. And again, what urged him to go against everything that was taught? Don't go under a bridge. Not only did he go under a bridge, but he climbed up to the point where he could have been crushed completely.
Well, look what happened to his car if he'd stayed in it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, we've got to look at those synchronicities. Yes, as you just said, why did he stop? Because everything in him told him not to.
Yeah.
You know, tornadoes. Hello, I've seen a tornado when I lived in Maryland over in the US. You know, a couple of people lost their lives that day. Thank God I was, but the hail, you don't want to be, you know, it actually touched down 5 miles from me, which is about 8 kilometres. So, you know, people say, oh, why didn't he just turn around and drive in the other direction? Because the debris goes for miles. It could go for 20, 30, 40 kilometres, you know. So it is best to just bunker down straight away and get to safety when these tornadoes, because it's not just the whirly, it's all the debris, etc., outside of the whirly that still goes around. You know, I know what I was actually staying in Maryland. I was up on about the 5th story. The hail was like this round, coming straight at the door, and the door smashed. And I ended up under the mattress. I put the mattress up and I was behind that. And then that night, when they said that the tornado, it touched down about 5 miles away and a couple of people died. You know, that was, I saw it. I saw the twirlies because I was outside watching the hail before it actually came sideways at me. So he had to get to safety fast. So let's look at now, why wasn't he an animal? Because if it was an animal, let's use psychology here, he would have tried to protect that animal at all cost.
Yeah.
If it was a dog, he would have picked it up.
Yeah.
If it was a cat or a bird, he would have maybe left it alone, but he still wouldn't have done what he did by holding on himself. Right. You know, he would have been trying to protect that other entity if it had been an animal. So psychologically, it had to be a male.
Yeah.
If it was a female, he would have done everything he could in his psychological approach, like animals. He would have been holding her hand or squeezing her while he's hanging onto the pole, which in effect could have let him lose his grip and he would have got tossed away anyway.
Sure, yeah.
So one, it had to be a male because that shows strength and it shows resilience because that's a male entity. Yeah. Secondly, while he's hanging on, obviously this other person, it may have been holding on to something as well.
Yeah.
So there is that plausibility there that they were safe during the tornado. But where did he go?
Yeah.
You know, he said that he got into that little groove, that little cavey thing.
Yeah.
The guy could have gone back into there.
Yeah.
But you would have seen that because he was up there, you know, because, you know, underpasses don't have huge caverns in there. You know, it's just like a little, it's only a little space.
Yeah.
So where did he go is the big thing here that really adds value to this story.
Yeah.
The fact that no one else saw him when they came.
Yeah.
Where did he go?
Yeah.
That's the big one.
Yeah, I mean, Joanna says, where did they go? You know, it's very much similar to that story with the old lady with the car tire, where the truck just appeared out of nowhere.
That's right.
And then just disappeared.
So let's just go there with that synchronicity.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a bridge. You got the road under the bridge.
Yeah.
You've got your pylons that go up like this. Yeah. He climbed up one side.
Yeah.
What about the other side? Why wasn't he on the other side?
Yeah.
Why was he right there? Because, you know, that would have been like, oh, God, probably 2 or 4 lanes deep.
Yeah.
You know, you come up one specific part. He didn't say, oh, the guy was 15 feet away. He was right there when he went up.
Yeah.
So it's that synchronicity of being there at the exact same time, at the exact same location, for that event, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
That's what is,
Yeah. And
can't explain it. You just can't explain it.
Do you also think, Lynda, that quite often these people are rescued, if you like, for because now the information that they have, or the gratitude for life, now creates a different perspective in their life to become a better person, so the family becomes a better person, and so the children go to school, become better people, the wife at work becomes a better, so it creates this ripple effect to create a better world. I mean, I know
Absolutely.
that it's a vast and general thing to say, but that is a life-changing experience, and anyone who's had an NDE such as yourself, or a life-changing experience where they've nearly experienced death, will know the gratitude of life.
Absolutely.
So,
you know, people say to me all the time, okay, Steve Irwin, I used to work with him. I've got photos of me and Steve Irwin together. Australia Zoo guy, the crocodile guy here in Australia that got killed about, 15, 20 years ago.
is it a long ago?
People say to me all the time, people say to me all the time, why did he die so young? And I say, well, you don't know the ripple effect of what that occurrence had to do.
Yeah.
You know, he got stung by a stingray by demonstrating what the barb does.
Yeah.
How do you know some kid in 50 years, little 4-year-old boy, is walking down the beach, he sees the stingray, he's about to step on it, and he thinks, oh, no, I remember what happened to Steve Irwin.
Yeah.
And that kid might grow up and be the next Prime Minister, or the one who brings out alternative energy, stops pollution, stops all this other stuff happening. Yeah. You don't know the consequences. You know, we as adults, or humans, should I say, we get so focused on our own lives and our own existence in our own presence, we don't think of the future events that could stop or become because of that instance happening, okay?
Yeah.
And this is the mind blow, because it may be in another 100 years. It may not be for this man. Yeah. It may be for the story that he's telling his grandchildren when he's 80. Oh, yes, I was under this bridge in a tornado and this angel appeared. So he tells his grandkid in another 50 years, and then when he grows up, he may become a minister or somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can't possibly ever know the consequences for the actions of why angels appear to us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We can't say, oh, my God, you know, like one of the things people ask me about is the tsunami that hit Indonesia. 250,000 people dead. I nearly said dollars then. 250,000 people died that day. Why? We don't know the consequences.
Yeah.
You know, those kids that died, that may have stopped them being sexually assaulted when they were 14. It may have stopped them having huge problems from car accidents or injuries, because illnesses, etc. They've been saved for some reason, every single one of them, because there is always a reason for everything that happens.
Yeah.
Well,
of course, with Steve Irwin, it could also be that at that moment he fulfilled his life purpose for the hundreds of reasons that you said.
And that's exactly right.
Yeah, and it reminds me of, and I mentioned it before, but it's worth mentioning again, a friend and colleague of mine whose grandfather during the war was travelling in a Jeep with somebody else in the Jeep. They went over a landmine. His grandfather died, but the grandfather who survived ended up being the grandfather of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So whether you like him or not, or is irrelevant. Can you imagine how life would have been without, say, Hollywood without Schwarzenegger?
That's right.
What would the political situation been like since he married a Kennedy and he's a Republican?
That's exactly right.
So whether we like him or not, whether we like his politics, whether we like his personality, what would the world have been like if his grandfather had died instead of my friend's grandfather?
Yes. Well, can you imagine Sylvester Stallone being Terminator? So instead of hearing "I'll be back," it would have been "I'll be back." I'll be back.
I'll be back,
totally different line it would have been, because it was going to go to Stallone. Right. Sylvester Stallone was one of the people that was nominated for that, or asked to audition for that part of Terminator. Yeah. So, that accent made that role. Hate him or love him, you can't dispute the fact that that line is now Hollywood history.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's one of the most, it is the most famous movie line ever said.
Yeah.
So look at that synchronicity that made his existence.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I got to tell you before we move on, my two favourite movie lines. One of them is obviously Dirty Harry. Do you feel lucky, punk?
Yes. That's right.
But my favourite one is becoming all time is from They Live, where he goes into the bank and says, "I've come here to chew gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of gum."
Yeah.
So if any of you have never seen They Live, it's very pertinent to what's going on today. In fact, Roddy Piper did say this was a documentary and not a movie. But
I told you my favourite line at the moment. It's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
He's in a movie called How to Lose a Girl in 6 Dates or whatever, 10 Dates or something. Kate Hudson is the girl in the movie with him. He has to break up with her after 10 dates,
right,
and she has to try and stay with him for more than 10 dates. No, she's trying to get rid of him. I don't know. I can't remember the movie. But anyway, he takes her home to meet the family, and they're all out the back playing cards. And the card game, I won't tell you what it's called, but they're all sitting there, and you've got to think, is your person opposite you lying? And if you think that they're lying, the name of the game is Bullshit. Okay? So they've done a little meme now with Matthew McConaughey where he's saying, I call this bullshit. I'm loving it. I'm loving the Matthew McConaughey meme at this point, Yeah. Oh, God. Wow. Because everything is at the moment, isn't it? At least we try and get to the truth of the matter here with paranormal stuff, Mike.
As best we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, next one.
Who are we going over to look at now?
Dr. Mary Neil.
She's
another doctor. It does seem to me that a lot of these doctors have this very blasé approach about the afterlife until they actually enter it for a short period, and then everything sort of changes for them.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll have a quick look. We'll have a quick look at this one and tell me what you think. So you're the expert
Let's
in this
go.
field, Lynda. Here we go.
Thank you.
I used to be a very typical American Christian. I went to Sunday school when I was a kid. I was confirmed in the church when I was in middle school. And then I went to college and medical school and training. And I bought into the idea that you had to choose between science and spirituality. Now, I was a good person. I mean, I certainly bought into the concept of being a good person and honest and ethical and a woman of integrity and all those sorts of things. But the fact is, I was really busy. I became a wife, a full-time surgeon. I was the director of spine surgery at a big university. And pretty soon I had 4 little kids to take care of. I mean, Jesus to me was one more thing on my to-do list that I knew I was never going to get to. But that all changed one day in 1999 when I died. And yes, I literally mean died. I spent 30 minutes under 8 to 10 feet of water without oxygen at the base of this waterfall. And while I was underwater and dying, I asked that God's will be done. And the minute I asked that, I was immediately overcome with a very, very physical sensation of being held and comforted and reassured by Christ. And he took me through a life review that was like nothing I could have imagined. I was reinserted into every one of the most painful memories of my life. But this time was different. I had a complete understanding of the life story of the other people involved, and I felt nothing but compassion, even for the people who had hurt me deeply. And I discovered that where God's love is present, there is no room for destructive emotion. I discovered grace. And then I was also shown the beauty that came out of each and every one of those painful experiences when seen from a distant perspective. Eventually, my body came over the front deck of my boat, and when that happened, my spirit rose up and out of the river, and I was immediately greeted by a group of people or spirits, beings, who were so overjoyed to welcome me home. I know that they had loved me and known me as long as I have existed. And even as I was with them and rejoicing, I could look back at the river and I could see my friends pull my bloated purple body to shore and watch them start CPR. And I had a wonderful life. But even as I watched that, I knew that I was home and I had no intention of returning. And these people, or spirits, started taking me down this beautiful pathway that exploded with colors and flowers and the aromas of flowers, which is what speaks beauty to my soul. And I absolutely believe that God presents to each one of us the experience at the time of our death that does speak beauty to us, that lets us know that we are known and loved. And we finally got to the end of this pathway, and I was there for what felt like many, many hours. And during my time there, I had a complete understanding of the divine order of the universe, how it could possibly be true that there is a God that is real and present today, knows each and every one of the billions of us on this planet individually, loves each and every one of us as though we're the only ones, and has a plan for each and every one of us and for the world that's one of hope. And eventually I was told that it wasn't my time, that I had more work to do on earth, and that I would have to go back to my body. So I did what any reasonable person would do, and I said, I'm good, I can stay. But here I am, I got kicked out. But they took that opportunity to then give me this laundry list of work yet to be done. Everything on the list would be challenging. But certainly one of the most challenging things on that list had to do with the coming and unexpected death of my oldest son. He was hit and killed by a car 10 years later. But at that time, he was only 9. And when I asked the obvious question of why my boy, I was immediately returned to my life review, where I had been shown the truth in God's promise that beauty comes of all things, eventually. And I was reminded that it is always a matter of trust, trusting God's promises to us. And with that, then, I was reunited with my body. And I continued to have supernatural experiences over the next couple of weeks. But then finally, the window, my personal window into heaven, closed.
Firstly, Melinda, why don't you, whenever you get the opportunity or you feel like you'd like to do it, why don't you tell us the story of your daughter's NDE?
Yeah.
Just put yourself in front of the camera and record it, just for 5 minutes.
That's right.
That's all. We'd love to hear it. I know it takes courage, and it can be very personal, so you can say as much or as little as you want. But it would be really great if you could do that. Back to this one. Should be very careful when we say God's will be done, because it may not really be what you want. Because
that's right.
this is the problem, God's will be done. Okay, God's will is done. You say, no, that's not what I meant. When God's will, what I really meant is this. So just a heads up, be very specific with what you want and what you ask for, because if you say, may God's will be done, it may really not be what your real intention is, what you require. That's all I want to say on that. I'm going to go over to you with this one, Lynda.
All right. She came out with some beautiful words that I have written down. The first one she said is that there's that big barrier between spiritualism and science. Boy, am I trying to find that common ground between the two realms of absolute differences of opinion, okay? I am researching another book that I'm doing about ghosts. I'm trying to prove the science why ghosts exist.
Good luck with that.
Oh, yeah. What do you think I'm every day? And I also liked how she said she was reinserted into every situation, because that just rung so true for me in my own life review, where, one of the thousands of memories that I went through, because there was thousands that I went through, I picked up my grandmother's cat and I pulled its tail. I was only about 5 years old, and instantly I was the cat. So she used the word reinserted. Mm-hmm. So you are inserted into that other being to feel what I was doing to it. So I actually became the cat.
Right.
And, so then you experience what that cat felt. You experience what that cat's life is like. So you know the whole being of that cat.
Right.
And that's what she said when she was reinserted into every situation that she'd gone into. And she felt the whole reason for the other person's experience. So like me with that cat, as soon as I became the cat where I was pulling its tail, I knew everything that it had done that day, because I was living that cat's existence when I was doing my life review. So you fully get that comprehension of the perspective of the other person. If we're nasty to someone, we feel that, why are you abusing me for type situation. And it is tenfold, just like in the Bible. So if you make someone scared, multiply that by 10, and that's what you feel. And then you've got to heal yourself through that process. So I don't want to talk too much about it. No. But the last thing that she said that really got me going was when she said, I had supernatural experiences over the next couple of weeks, and then my personal window closed. my personal window didn't close, Mike. It's still opening because, I'd say about every 6 months I get upgraded to a new one. I had a friend over, my friend John was here the other day. He's a masseuse. He's giving me a massage. Oh, thank you so much, John.
Steady on now,
Lynda. I've got a broken neck. Okay? So John was over giving me a massage the other day, and he said to me, did you have these abilities before you died? And I said, look at it like riding a bike. Until you physically sit on the bike, you don't know whether you can ride it. Yeah. And that's the same with psychic abilities, because we get so lost and consumed in these 5 senses that we have now, our sight, our hearing, etc. We don't know the other psychic abilities that exist unless they actually come to us like an accident, or we are presented in that opportunity where we have to use it. And please note that I just said opportunity there. So with regards to John, when he was here the other day, I said to him, I think in my life I've always been a psychic because I must have had a near-death experience when I was a baby in hospital. Mum tells stories that they nearly lost me a few times. So I've always had this blessing of being gifted, but they obviously want me to use it for some sort of reason because I keep getting upgraded. I did that great video on angelic intent on YouTube where I just had a download night and I looked like crap. I got on straight after I woke up where I'm looking like death warmed up because I hadn't slept all night and I was having all these boom, 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 boom lights coming at me all night with thoughts and processes. I've just had an experience just this week now where I'm seeing like these hieroglyph numbers and symbols coming at me. So I've been writing those down as well now. So we always get upgraded. We don't get all our abilities at once, which is unfortunately for this girl, her window closed. So she's lost her psychic abilities, which, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry for that. But there's a reason why she's lost them.
I mean, do you think that at some level it was a personal choice to close it? Because she's a very academic person as well, a very left-brained person. Right. So,
That's right. And also, I always say it like this to everyone, Mike. If we want abilities, all we've got to do is ask for them. Because they are innate. If we believe and we have that intention of wanting a psychic ability, we'll get it. But we have to trust in what it is and believe that it really occurs. The only reason why we cannot make this vase of flowers behind me, the only reason why that will not magically float through the air and land in my hand is because our brain says, no, it weighs 10 kilos and it's planted on a table and there's no way logical that this is going to move. So we don't believe that it could travel through the air, which is telekinesis, okay? So we don't believe that it could happen. So as soon as we take away that self-doubt of non-belief, anything is possible. And, I don't know why my window of experiences didn't close. I don't know why I'm still getting upgraded. I hope that I'm doing the right job. What's your thought? What's your thought, Mike?
Well, many of us, and we had this discussion a while back, many of us, let's call light workers. I was only told I was a light worker a few months ago because I don't like to define what I am or what I do in that respect.
Yeah, that's me too. I don't like defining it.
But we chose to come to this earth plane at this time.
Absolutely.
And why wouldn't we? Why would we not?
Why wouldn't we?
Why wouldn't we not want to come here and be part of the sorting out this great big holy mess that has been projected for a long time?
Yes.
So this is why. And perhaps with her, that lady, she experienced what she experienced, so perhaps she can take care of the medicinal, earthly medicinal side of things a little bit more.
That's right.
But why would
Well,
we not
there
want
is-
to be
there-
here?
Yeah, well, there is one other thing that I want to say about what she said, and that was in relation to her son that got killed. You know, I got privy information about my daughter. They told me the date to conceive her. You know, this is the mind blow. You know, that I died in 2001 and I didn't have Tashi until 2006. And I knew that I was having her for 5 years. I knew a lot of things that she's going to do in the future after I'm not here anymore, after I pass. But I've seen the things in my life, you know, like working with the police for 10 years.
Yeah.
She told me that in 2001. You know, other things that have happened, which I don't want to go into here because we'll talk for the next 6 hours. But, you know, for her to know before she even lost her son that she was going to lose him, how gracious can she be knowing that it was all part of a plan? And so she didn't have to grieve or to be traumatized by what happened to him that day, because he had a life contract. He had his own lessons to learn.
Yeah.
And, you know, people say to me, oh, when kids get killed, you know, what lessons could they possibly learn? How about we talk about lessons like sacrifice? How do we learn unconditional love unless we give up our own life for somebody else?
Yeah. I mean, it could also be, Lynda, that let's say a young child that dies is an old soul and wanted to experience an early life.
Absolutely.
You know,
we don't know. We don't know. You know, I don't know about you, Mike, but I have enough trouble trying to work out my own life lessons, let alone trying to work them out of somebody else as well. You know. So that's the end of the game there. You know, we don't have to worry about what happens to somebody else. Oh, why did they do that? Don't ever judge why somebody did that. Don't judge it. Judge it, because we don't know what life lessons they have to learn or what their life contract is.
No.
You know. So don't worry about it. Just concentrate on yourself, guys. Sort yourself out emotionally. You know, get through all your grudges and bad behaviours, and try and be the best person that we can possibly be. You know, because obviously there's so many people who have the good experience. And I will go there. There are a lot of NDEs who have nasty experiences because they're hanging on to grudges. They hang on to guilt. They hang on to shame, embarrassments. And you look at that specific instance of embarrassment, and your life review can be a very, very traumatic one, you know, or a hellish experience.
Well, a couple of the ND groups were asking the question, has anyone experienced hell in an NDE? I guess I would say you can if that's what your consciousness wants to allow.
Absolutely. You know, and it's not the fire and brimstone depicted in movies. It's not like that. The closest I've seen is an episode of Lucifer, which is on Netflix. This episode starts with a guy on a boat and a man comes in and shoots him and he's dead. And then Lucifer, who plays the devil, Tom Ellis. Oh gosh, you wonder why I'm watching that show. Tom Ellis is there. Hello, I'm single. I'm a woman. I can watch. But he comes in and says, "Have you learnt your lesson yet?" Because he's about to come back in and kill you again.
Right.
And the guy says, "What? Get stuff." So the guy comes in and kills him again. And then Lucifer says, "Look, this is your hell loop." This is your hell loop. You have to keep going through this part because you haven't healed it yet. And Lucifer actually says to him, so the writers of this show have actually got it pretty right from what I've experienced and what I learned. He says, at any point, you can change the outcome and get out of this loop. Because that is the hell. Because I don't believe that there is a place called hell. It is all the unhealed grudges, regrets, shame, embarrassments, all the jealousies that we hang on to that create this scenario of a perspective So we don't actually go to the place where she once was and saw those flowers.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure I was standing in that same field because of what she was saying just about the flowers and how they resonated with her and the smell. Because I was in that field with the flowers too.
Right.
Okay? So she had the good experience. And that's why I try to tell people now, get through all your negative stuff so you have a really good experience when we die.
Right.
Yeah, or don't stay here as a ghost.
Okay. Well,
Next one.
We're running out of time, so we've run on to...
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Well, obviously, you can tell that I can talk about near-death experience forever, darling.
Let's look at Michael Shane. He
yes.
does aports, not in the traditional sense of a spiritualist church where you see a feather or a coin come through the scene. This is a more earthly approach to things.
Yep.
I know of people that do this stuff anyway. Yeah.
And girls, I've got to just go there. It made me a little bit queasy with what he's about to do. So maybe if you just look at it like this and at the beginning until you realise what he's doing, okay? Let's try and work out if this is magic, like Constantine that I spoke about at the beginning, or whether it is a real phenomena that this man can do. Okay, but just be aware of there is a little quingy bit, okay?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Also jetzt Knüppel aufmachen und du da anbauen. Mach's weg, ich habe am Riss.
Sabine.
Wer?
Das ist überhaupt nicht.
Wieso? Wow, wie meinst du das?
Das Bildschweine zählt.
Das Bild?
Water, please.
Can you give us
This is cold still. And open. There's one right here. There's one by Sabine's foot.
They put that one in oil too.
Also die haben das auch in Öl wie gebadet, diesen großen Stein.
Table?
Yeah.
Ja, Luzi ist beginnt.
Luzi?
Ja?
Soll ich es weiterlaufen oder soll ich es abstellen?
Musst du mir wieder.
So, Lynda, I can see you all through that going like this.
Oh,
Now, let me say something here about this. I do know people that have done this. Looking at some comments some people made, they absolutely slaughtered the fella, saying it's a cheap trick. Now, I know some people can store stuff and regurgitate it, but that's a hell of a lot of bloody stuff that you got to keep down and try and regurgitate.
I've seen Constantine doing this with goldfish.
Right.
Living, swimming goldfish, where he's in a crowd for, I don't know, hours.
Yeah.
And he'll bring up this goldfish and it's doing this on the hand where it's still moving.
Right.
So how the hell does he do that?
Yeah.
You know, with goldfish.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Weird, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. What are you thinking?
Well, I've got to do a little bit more research in him, with him, and I know he's very well respected. As we spoke off air, he's a reverend. That means anything, but I mean, I'm just trying to fill people in with this. I need to do a little bit more research on it. What I would say is you are either a very deprived person and an attention seeker if this is a trick, or you have got this gift. I mean, this is a different way of the gentle aports that I've witnessed, to say feathers coming through or a coin, or we've even seen a flower move out of its vase and fall onto the floor. But I know that some people can do this. What I would like to have seen is, even if it had been an hour long, because I'd have fast forwarded it from the point of strapping him down.
That's right. Yes.
And I would also...
Did he have the opportunity to store those things within him?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's one reason why I Googled this man. You know, he's a reverend.
Yeah.
He's got a very legitimate website.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of blogs out there. He does a lot of development classes.
Yeah.
Is he fake to get that publicity for what he does? I don't know.
Right.
You know, I know a lot of mediums out there who are fakes. They use psychology as their trickery, you know, to sell their books. Yeah. I don't know. But he's a reverend.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a reverend. You know, I've been ordained. I uphold the spiritualism, and I don't speak untruths or lies. So I've got to therefore use that same code with him because he's a reverend. Yeah. So it makes me want to believe him just for the fact of what my training and my expertise on, you know, being a reverend is, because he's a reverend as well. Yeah. So that's why I've shared his website, so then people can go there and have a look at, so to make up their own mind on whether he is just another magician or whether he has got a legitimate gift that he does want to share with people and let them know that this can occur. Yeah. You know, it'd be interesting to know whose those rings were. Yeah. And what was that big green thing that came out of his mouth? Oh, my God. Yeah. It made me want to throw up. And when I saw it first coming out, I thought, what the hell is coming out of his mouth? Yeah. You know?
Well, you know, I've seen Sai Baba do this, bring up, I think he calls it a lingam. And they're great big. Yeah. I know.
Come on, hang on. I need the airplane spew bag. Sorry, Mike.
I know, but that's what he calls it. I've also seen him in a vase produce holy ash, and it just keeps coming out. I got to admit, at the risk of offending some people, I'm not convinced by Sai Baba, because all I've ever seen of him is the same in this situation. I've never seen him walk to the chair, sit down, and then we sit and wait. It's always he's got this serviette, and he tends to go wipe his mouth with the serviette, and anything could be in there. And when he pulls the holy ash out of the vase, which is tons of it, first his hand is this way, then it's that way, and then it's this way, and it kind of makes you feel, well, are there sockets there?
Yes.
And the person behind him, you know, nothing is absolutely obvious. There's plenty of room for doubt. So I'm sorry if I offend anyone with Sai Baba. I'm not saying he is he is fake. It's just I need
Yeah.
to see a little bit more plain and simple for me to be convinced by it.
Let's just go back there to what we were just talking about with Mary Neil. You know, she said that she had abilities.
Yeah.
I've got abilities, and if the angels actually said to me, Lynda, you're going to have the ability where you sit in a chair and you're throwing up all these objects, I think I would have said no for that one. Thank you very much, with the most respect.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, no, I'm cringeworthy there. Wow. Well, Mike, we're getting on in time. We better get on to where are we going? Our last one is A J Barrera.
Yep.
Yep.
Let's just have a quick look at the work of A J Barrera, and then we can wrap it all up. Here we go.
I don't know if I'm in the same section, but there is something about being like a very sudden, a very quick passing. But here's the thing, it feels like as if I was rushed into, like, say, ICU, I was rushed into emergency, and there's also a reference to either the person in spirit or the person that we need to acknowledge that's either like the L, like the EL, like Elaine, like Eileen, or like the E name that's connected. What's the connection?
The father figure is my husband, and this is my daughter, Eliana, and
okay.
he died just
Here's the thing. Again, I don't want you to give me the information because, again, it's for you to have this experience. Would there then be a separate then EL name passed over then? You're saying yes, she's not saying anything, so.
That's his name. Yeah. My name is Eliana, and his name is Eliseo.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Okay, so I'm with you. So I need to validate your dad is stepping forward here when he comes through. I need to validate your husband wants to make fun of you, Mom, and I don't know if you kind of like forget about him or you don't think about him that often, but he wants to let you know that I'm always like around you. I'm always like hearing everything. And he's telling me to tell you, stop being so angry. Stop being so angry. So there's a way with him that he wants to validate. He sees what's happening here in your life, but more importantly, he sees what you're going through. And I think it's so important for you to know that he knows that you're upset, but he knows that you're not upset with him, but with his passing, if that makes sense. Yes? It feels like to me, when he did transition, it feels very quick to me. It doesn't feel like normal to me as someone that would have had a heart attack and then got medical assistance. It feels like it was very rapid or very quick. Was there a situation of him actually being rushed into emergency or rushed into ICU?
Yes.
Okay. Who was this all here together? All family?
Yeah, all family.
Okay. How is this gentleman connected here?
To his son.
Okay, I need to validate you specifically, and there's a way that he wants to honor you. Now, I don't know if you are like the junior, if you are like the man, but he's making you feel like you are the man. Like, I keep on hearing, you demand, you demand. So I feel like there's a way with your dad that he wants to honor you, that you're going to hold him down the fort. He's saying don't be afraid of her that often. So I don't know if it's kind of like, I don't want to deal with Mom, don't want to talk back to Mom, but he's saying like, it's okay. He wants to make sure that you're okay with him being gone, because he's telling me that you obviously made that experience, you made the connection that he's gone, all these different things have you connected with. But the part of it that still comes back to you is the physical essence of him, like, but he's still not here. So he's telling me to tell you that I'm still right here, like now, in the now. And I don't think you need me to validate that, but he wants you to validate that experience to know that he's around you in spirit. I don't know if you are a coach, but he's talking about coaching or playing ball. What's the reference?
He was my coach for like 10 years.
Okay. He still wants to coach you from the other side and still wants to make sure that you're doing the right job of taking care of the family. So as much as you're trying to do, I don't know how young or how old you are, and you don't have to tell me, it doesn't matter to me, but just know that he sees what you're trying to do. He's also validating for me, where's like Angela or Angie or Angelica, where's that connected to?
Angela's my best friend.
Okay, is she passed over?
No.
Okay, I don't know, would he have known her in life?
Yes.
It might be that, but I feel like it's more of a hello. I don't feel like I miss you or I love you in that form, but I think it's just his way of acknowledging her.
Yes.
But it feels like more of like drinking martinis and having drinks.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That was her.
Okay, just know it's his way of validating that experience for you guys. And the lady on the end, how are you connected? You said daughter, sorry, or friend?
I'm her sister.
Sister, okay. I need to validate. So this is your dad then as well? Forgive me?
Just my brother-in-law.
Brother, sorry. brother-in-law, forgive me. So I think it's his way acknowledging being part of the situation, but he's also validating there's a separate female figure that is also passed over for one of you ladies here.
My mom.
Okay, I would say as mom. So I need to validate mom is stepping forward here with the husband figure. So just know your husband has, what do you call it? Is it suegra? Is that the right word?
Suegra.
I keep on hearing that. So I don't know if he spoke Spanish quite often, but I keep on hearing, I don't speak Spanish, obviously you guys heard that language, that pronunciation, but I feel like in some ways, I feel like I want to bring her through in some way saying she's right here with me. I really believe there's out of respect that he wants to come through with this woman, because once she comes through, he's making it feel like I want to kind of give the honoring to her and saying like she's right here with me. And he wants to make sure that he wanted to tell you specifically that he's taking care of her. So I don't know if you told him to take care of her or vice versa, but they're taking care of each other, yes?
Yes.
They're also making you feel like that they want to acknowledge the connection that you have is pure. So don't let people tell you that you're making this up or you're just thinking about them or it's just this or that. But I really believe it's their way of identifying. It's their soul and their soul and spirit right here in this very moment. Did either one of them, either your husband or your mother, suffer from cardiac arrest or heart arrhythmia? Either one of them? Let me tell you what I'm seeing. Do you know those monitors that you have that actually show the heart rate? That's what I'm seeing. So there's something about the heart monitor, the heart rate, there's something about that.
They couldn't get his heart to come back up, so that's why.
I am so sorry. I really believe in some ways that I feel like in that moment, which is why he's talking about the soul and spirit, that it already checked out. So I don't feel like your husband went through that pain or suffered. And I really believe if he did come back here physically, I really believe there would have been more issues for him to rehabilitate. So there might have been a situation where he may have been oxygen to the brain or had like a stroke. There's something about this that I feel like it would have been worse if he would have came back. There's also a reference, and I don't know if either one of you guys actually have this now, but does someone actually have a tattoo of like wings or angel wings?
Yes.
What's the connection?
I have a tattoo of angel wings with his initials in the middle.
So,
isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah. So there we go.
Isn't that gorgeous?
There we go. An excellent reading. You know, the tattoo is it's okay. We can always say, yeah, the chances today of someone having a tattoo is obvious, but to identify the tattoo is the thing that really presents the evidence. So.
Yep. You know, someone said to me the other week, when do spirits come through? Because she wanted to communicate with someone that she knew. And I said, darling, if you're in a good place, your life's going on path, they're not going to exude all that energy to come through and say, high five, well done, good job.
Yeah.
They come through when we're upset, when we're grieving.
Yeah.
And I said to her, you look at any sort of John Edwards show, like here, talking about A J Barrera, those people on the stage, look how easily they got upset when he mentioned who it was. So they're still going through that grief.
Yeah.
And that's why he's come through and not for anyone else sitting in that room. See what I mean?
Yeah.
They come through when we're still attached emotionally to that grief process of losing them. So that's why they come through and give us support, those hugs of encouragement when we need them most. So if our lives are going well and we're, happy with our job and we're paying our bills and, we're emotionally getting through the traumas of losing people, they don't generally come through and give us those high five moments.
No.
Okay, guys? It's usually when we're grief-stricken. And that's something, if ever you watch John Edwards or more people like A J Barrera, every time he picks somebody up out of the audience, look how easily they all start to cry.
Yeah.
None of them sit there like I would, seriously, because if I went to a mediumship show and they said, oh, here's your grandmother, I'd be going, yay, man, thanks for coming back.
So with us.
See?
Yeah.
You see what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Because everyone that gets stood up because the spirit comes through,
Yeah.
they're all in that energetic sorrow place where they need that support or they need that confirmation that their relative is still out there. Okay? So just remember that, guys. If ever you do go to a mediumship show or you want to connect with a relative, please remember they don't just come through all the time. You can sit in your lounge room, like I've done it with my grandmother many nights. And I said, Nan, if you're here, I I've lit a candle for you, Nan. Can you blow it out? Oh, I've done it many, many nights over the years. She never comes through because she knows that I miss her and I love her, but I'm not grieving that emotional connection anymore to her. Okay? That passed the first day then when she died, by the way, because I knew where she was. You know, I was the first at the hospital. I got into bed with her after she died, and I was talking to the ceiling because I didn't know whether she was still floating there. And the lady in the next bed must have thought I was nuts because I was saying, Nan, if you're still here, please know I love you. And until we meet again, I'll see you on the other side. Well, you know, so the lady in the next bed, she must have thought I was nuts that day, you know, knowing that my grandmother just died. Yeah, but it's all good, guys, you know. So just remember that they don't go through all that trauma to come through and give us those hugs when we're happy. You know, it's only when we're going through bad times that they come back. You know, so it's not always. It's not always. So don't expect it. Don't expect it, because you know, the reason why they call these psychic abilities gifts is because everything is a gift. It is to be appreciated. It is to be respected and revered by the grace of the heavens. And, you know, no other better way than to end our show, Mike, than to give everyone that little bit of love and hope that, you know, things may be looking out badly out your window. But have a look what's going on inside that window. Look at your own life. Look at the way you're living your life. Are you the best person that you truly want to be? And go out there and be that person. And don't care what other people think of you. Don't care about what other people think of you. So,
and I'll tell you what, I'll leave you with this thought. A little meme I saw the other day. In the world of Kardashians, be a Sarah Connor.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Oh, from Terminator 2, please. When she looked pretty good. You know what I mean? She was good buffed up, okay?
That's the one.
Be Sarah Connor from Terminator 2, okay, guys? Where she's got that big Uzi thing over her shoulder walking down and she's got the really cool sunglasses on. That's me. That's what I want to be too. You know, so be that persona, guys, of who you truly want to be. You know, we're all warriors. Everybody who watches this show is a warrior because you're realizing that there is so much more out there than what the media and everybody else is saying on the planet. Okay? So stick around, guys. Like Mike Cavalli. Medium Mike Cavalli on Facebook is Mike. I'm on Facebook as Dr. Oh, yeah. Oh, I want to talk to you about that off air too, by the way. So keep that around. Dr. Dr. Lynda Cramer Paranormal is my group. Go join that. Join Medium Mike Cavalli. We're here at same time, same bat channel every week, guys. Wednesday. We used to do Mondays. Where did that come from? Wednesday, 7 p.m. Brisbane time, which is 10 a.m. Austria.
11 Austria.
11 now. Oh, gosh, time zones again. Here we go with daylight savings. But, guys, please know we are approachable. Email either of us. Contact us and send us PMs. You know, we love your feedback. And as Mike said earlier, if you do have a paranormal story, if you've got an NDE or some sort of ghost story where you know, even if you just say, oh, look, I don't know, what have I got here? I've got my red nail polish. Oh, look, this was my grandmother's. She moved it across the table. You know, anything that you want to say, guys. We're looking for stories that are common people like you and us that happens to real world people, okay? Just sit in front of your computer, do up a 5-minute video, send it to Mike or send it to me so we can get it on next week's air. Looking forward to it.
Super.
Okay.
Lynda.
Super duper.
I'll see you in a minute.
I'll see you on the other side, darling.
See everyone.
Everybody.
Very shortly.
Have a great week, guys. Thanks so much for being here as usual. Love yous all. All right.
Okay,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye for now.